If you're a dairy producer and you've just not yet been convinced that using genomics is worth it, and you're still waiting on that one thing that will put you over that hump, what would it be? Is it cost? Or the knowledge of how it could really help your operation? Or what are the steps to get your operation ready for genomics? Do you have questions on how it could open doors for more business? Or is there a way to start small with genomics and work your way into it? Wait, hold on. There. We're going to introduce you to a herdsman that will sequence the DNA of your questions. That's next on Herd and Feed TV. This episode is sponsored by Twin Ridge Genetics and by Amelicore, incredible tools that help you make more money. Amelicore produced an ebook with more information and details from our interview with Jordan at Twin Ridge Genetics, who you'll see here in just a moment. Visit amelicore.com/genetics to download your copy, or you can click on the link in the description below. Be sure to also click the subscribe button to join our family of viewers. To be notified when we post a new episode, you can also click the bell icon so you can see those notifications. Jordan Leake is a fourth-generation dairyman and is the operations manager at the Artima Group, consisting of many facilities over several locations, over 150 employees, 15,000 cows, and a calf ranch. Genetics became a priority for the Artima Group while implementing genomics over time with a high attention to detail. Their extensive experience naturally evolved into a business called Twin Ridge Genetics. We road tripped up to southern Idaho to talk with Jordan to get some real insights about using genomics.
I just have a passion for cows. It's not just about going to work, it's about doing something that you love. You know, we bought a lot of cows for a lot of years, and we learned that it's really hard to find cows that you really like, and you feel like you've hit the jackpot when you did. Generally speaking, people don't want to sell their best cows, and those are the ones that you're looking for when you're trying to start a herd or when you're trying to expand or grow or even maintain. When genomics came out as a tool, I think is when things really turned the page for us, and we realized what the work that we had been doing by using and selecting the very best bulls that we could possibly use over the many years had been paying off. And as we continued to expand that use of genomic testing, we realized that on a herd level, we had really created an elite herd on a really large scale. And so that's when it really started becoming exciting to us. Being able to use a passion that we have in genetics to be able to expand that a little bit further and be able to offer that to other dairies. We don't hold anything back. We share genomic data. We're confident in the cows that we sell. Hearing that feedback of these cows have really worked so well for us. We have clients that month in and month out come back and get cows to the point where they're not breeding anymore, and we make long-term commitments to them so that they can continue to perpetuate that in their herds.
Jordan and his colleagues have proven that they love working with cows and have become experts in the use of genetics. After talking at length, Herd and Feed TV wanted to know if a dairy producer has not yet made the leap into genomics, why would now be the time?
You know, there's not a lot of margins in this business anymore, and you have to get to the point where your inputs come easier, and we all have to pay for feed. We all have our fixed costs and our labor, and they're really similar across the board. The one thing that we realize that profitability comes in is your input of the actual cattle. For what you're putting into them, how much you're getting back out. And it's really only genetics that can make a difference. All of our 2-year-olds that calve in make more money than the cohort previous. They're healthier, they give milk easier is probably my best way of putting that. It doesn't take as much work to make the milk. I think day in and day out, a cow that has genetic potential is going to make you more money than a cow that doesn't. The first commitment you have to make is making sure that your facilities and your management is to the point where you'll be able to take advantage of genetics. Once you've made that commitment and investing in genetics, the numbers are pretty real. What does it come back to in dollars and cents? I can just tell you from a standpoint of our herd, really over the last 10 years, our average milk production has gone up 20 pounds per cow per day. And have we made management successes along the way? Absolutely. I don't want to attribute it completely to genetics, but I will say we have cows wanting to express their genetics much more than we give her an opportunity to do it. Really, the genetic progress maintains the speed that you use it. And there really is no slowing of that, and that's what we have found. It seems like the further you push, the quicker you go.
Jordan laid out some great information and convinced us that implementing genomics really is similar to other smart investments for producers, optimizing product production and making more money. Okay, so we know that genomics is a proven investment, but what if a producer has legitimate concerns such as reliability of testing, inbreeding issues, cost of testing, the learning curve?
For us, we deal with numbers every day and reliabilities, and so it was really easy for us to comprehend the benefits of this, even if it's not 100% reliable. So most of the tests and genomic testing that you'll be doing, it's getting close to 70% reliable. The way that we were testing animals before was, on the female side, was less than 50. It was a flip of the coin. It's a parentage average. It's really through a collaboration of all of these data points plus some technology, we're able to get to a point where, even though it's not 100%, it gives us a pretty good idea of where we're headed, especially on a large herd basis. And when you play the averages, it really helps us get down the road a lot faster than we were going before. The great advantage of genomic testing and inbreeding is the fact that we've been able to find so many genetic recessives that we've been able to eliminate. And so inbreeding, I think, really becomes a detriment to your herd when you're using some recessives that are causing some negatives. Through genomic testing and eliminating a lot of those genetic recessives, then inbreeding isn't quite as an issue that it once was. However, we do feel like it's important to have genetic variety. We're able to make sure that we try to stay away from certain genetic lines being put right on top of others. But for the most part, we're grateful for the genetic variety that we've gotten just through genetic testing and removing recessive genes. So testing is expensive, and it's a cost. Along with all the other costs, we weigh that, what are we getting back for that money invested. It's a very small cost if you look at how much it's going to cost to get that animal into production in 2 years. If you can make a decision in a couple weeks on an animal on what you want to do with her, before you put that feed investment in, it's one of the better investments that you can make. One of the reasons why we started Twin Ridge Genetics is that you can't just start a genetic program overnight and expect it to be there the next day. It's a long-term investment. And so being able to offer genetically superior animals, embryos, bulls to other producers is a way for them to jumpstart, to get ahead without having to go through the long process of that, to get a certain trait throughout your herd. So it's a fairly steep learning curve, and it's a big investment.
Well, Jordan added that a service like Twin Ridge Genetics really helps producers simplify the process by taking care of the testing, doing embryo transfer, and setting sync protocols for pregnancies in the herd management system. Next, Jordan gave us an example of a heifer where the sire was not recorded correctly. So the system showed that she was a nice heifer, but then having the genetic test showed that the cow came from a superior sire, which then elevated this cow to a completely different cohort, becoming an elite animal, number 1 of the breed. This example also highlights how genomics can help with breeding management and employee accountability by verifying parentage. Verification is great for supporting a culture of quality management and employee accountability throughout the entire operation. Now, let's get to some really interesting benefits of applying genomics in a herd business. Additional ways that can enhance the production and increase profits.
Those that are really excited about it making genetic leaps, embryo transfer is the way to do it. And it's really getting to the point now where you can control your destiny, what you're getting with every calf by an embryo transfer. And of course, just perpetuating your best genetics over time, like selecting the very best of your cattle and being able to have multiple offspring of those. You always have more calves per year than you'll ever need to replace your own herd. Do you want females? Do you want males? What type of breed do you want? I know it becomes real positive in systems like those that are trying to milk crossbreds. Maybe a Jersey and a Holstein and still get hybrid vigor there. But the problem has always been, for instance, they don't know quite what to do with the next generation, what to breed them to, and the hybrid vigor seems to taper off. You can take elite Holsteins, elite Jerseys, females with genomic data, use a bull from another breed with genomic data, and actually select and use those embryos to create your next generation females. Now you get to select what you want. We select for protein here. Protein is a really vital part that we feel of fluid milk is attached to protein. Fat kind of follows that. It's a component-driven aspect. The more protein you get, really, the more production you get for the most part. And then we start selecting for health traits. DPR and protein seem to be negatively correlated. They go the opposite way in a hurry. And so if you find bulls that have high protein and high DPRs, those seem to work really well in commercial environments. Cows that get pregnant easier just seem to be a little more healthy. And that's a data point that's pretty easy to select for, and you only have to select for one. Somatic cell scores is something that we select for really highly as well. One, because it is probably our biggest cost when we look at reasons for cows leaving our herd. But two, that's a data set and a data point that is collected and that is really hard to manipulate. When we do testing every month and it gets processed through our processor and into our DHI Plus, we know what the somatic cell counts are on every cow, and so do all the bull studs. And so that data gets collected really cleanly. Again, it gets back to management. As we select for somatic cell, we reduce our somatic cell and cows stay a little longer. As much as you want to get into genetic selection, you can get into it now. There's a lot of different indexes from different companies according to health traits and immunity that you can select for that will make you genetic progress. But it's just at the bare bones. If you're only selecting for a few traits, those are ones that are going to make you money.
So, you heard it from an expert. Genetic selection and embryo transfers can quickly perpetuate the genetics of your herd and the specific traits that fit your business needs or wants. Yes, you have options. Here's an example. Jordan said that producers could decide to implement only beef semen across the board, which then eliminates the need for managing a heifer program. Then you can sell those calves. With the revenue from the sale, you can then invest in fresh animals that can be integrated immediately into the herd. This process keeps the cost of additional inventory down, which Jordan added, banks appreciate that because it's more liquid or fluid for the business. Genomics gives you decision power. So, do you want to get on this train? Jordan discusses how to get out of the gates with a profitable genomic program. Besides putting in the time, here's what he said.
In order to really take advantage of increasing your production, increasing your profitability on your dairy through genetics, without herd management, you'll never be able to reach the genetic potential of every individual cow that you have in your care. Facilities, the way that we take care of the cows through our training programs are vital. Whole herd testing becomes really important. Being able to collect data and have it be in a system that you can get to it and assimilate what's really going on. We want a healthy herd. To us, having to trade cows is a cost that we can't pay. And so although we want production and we're always trying to find a way to increase our production, we can't have it at a cost of that cow's life. And then having a plan. Once you have a plan in place, having technologies available to be able to know that you're on that plan and that you are actually making steps. So I think is where DHI Plus and technology of this and being able to track your genetic progress becomes a really vital and key cog.
You've heard it many times, right? Good herd management practices and trained employees, it's a solid foundation. Also, when starting a genomics program, commit to whole herd testing. Establish a genetic selection plan and be sure your software will allow you to not only track the implementation of that plan, but that it can produce the data for feedback so you know you're on track as you move forward. Very sound advice. If there's a topic you'd like Herd and Feed TV to consider, if you'd like to sponsor an episode, please let us know in the comments area below. We'll see you next time on Herd and Feed TV.